What is up, FBG fam? Further here, and for today's video I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to give you my top 5 reasons why Wuthering Waves will succeed, and I want to know your reasons down in the comments below, so go ahead and do that. I'm excited to read what you guys have to say. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and drop a like, sub if you're new. I would love to have you stick around, join the FBG fam. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. With my number 1 reason is the gameplay. We know from Kuro Games, the developer of Punishing Gray Raven, combat and gameplay is going to be top notch and top tier. We've been seeing that from the technical tests, and we saw that from the IGN exclusive gameplay of the closed beta footage, and we know that the combat and gameplay is only going to get more in depth as they introduce more mechanics and more characters. Furthermore, we know this from the boss encounters that we've seen and the enemies that you get to fight in the open world. But we also know that from the characters and their passives and their technicality with the parry mechanic, the dodges, the concerto effect, the switch in switch out playstyle, the QTEs, this all plays into a gameplay and combat that is going to feel fluid, smooth, and technical, and is going to get very in-depth the more you explore it. Also with the capture mechanic, which we'll get into here in just a second, it only furthers that point and drives it home as confirmation. So gameplay is going to be one of the reasons why Wuthering Waves will succeed. Number 2, the characters. We've been seeing characters, and with the recent closed beta preview that they did, they introduced 2 additional new characters, husbandos I should say, that looked phenomenal and unique in their own right. We know the characters that we've been seeing have been top notch and top tier in terms of their character design, but also their gameplay and combat and mechanics, and we know that each character is going to have their own unique passive, their own unique abilities, and very enticing for people to main, to master, and to perfect. And we know that's the case with Kuro Games and their games that they develop. They have characters that not only look good but also play good, and that if you master, you really unlock their full potential. So characters is going to be top notch, and another reason why Wuthering Waves will succeed. Number 3, the capture mechanic. This mechanic right here, and I mentioned this in prior videos, is what's going to separate Wuthering Waves from other open world games. It's a unique feature to them that adds more depth to the combat, but not only more depth to the combat, but more depth to your build, more depth to the effects that you have on your characters, and being able to, from what we've seen from the closed beta preview and the technical test, the combination of the capture mechanic where you capture a boss or enemy and you are able to then use them in combat, but they have their own unique effects and abilities that they provide your character that you equip them on. And when you have a combination of those different enemies that you have together, they create different effects like additional crit damage or crit rate or defense or health. And this is going to be what has Wuthering Waves succeed, because it's unique to Wuthering Waves and it's a mechanic that can get very technical and you can really build upon it. So the capture mechanic is just far and away the best thing that Wuthering Waves has going for it, that separates it, makes it its own unique game, not a clone of any other. And the satisfaction, I mentioned this before as well, the satisfaction of being able to defeat a difficult boss, but then be able to capture them and use them against other bosses and enemies in the game is just going to be fantastic. And then being able to show them off to your friends. For example, if you have a friend that's stuck on one of the bosses that are extremely difficult, you can show them off to your friend in co-op to show that you have defeated them, almost like an award or a medal. Capture mechanic is going to be incredible, and another one of the reasons why Wuthering Waves will succeed. Number 4, the story. Now, one thing I did want to mention is that, of course, there have been people stating that Wuthering Waves is only going to be combat focused, gameplay focused, and the story is going to be lackluster. And I have to disagree wholeheartedly, because Punishing Gray Raven has a story that's enticing, that is gripping, that is moving, that's emotional, that can get you going, happy. It has all of that in there. It has every spectrum of emotion that you can imagine, and Kuro Games had curated a story in Punishing Gray Raven that has been fantastic, and I have no doubt that they'll do the same for Wuthering Waves. If you take a look on YouTube, you can see so many different lore videos already, and the game is not even out. That just harkens back to how deep this game really is with the lore, with the story. I've done a few videos of my own on the channel that you can check out in regards to it, the trailers that they've been showing, the different hints and tidbits that they providing, crumbs. You can look on their website and be able to get so much archives and backstory of these characters and what they're providing. They have such a good foundation for what they developed here, and this world is going to be one that's gripping and enticing to explore and to uncover. And I can assure you the story is going to be emotional, the story is going to tug at your heartstrings, and it's going to be an amazing ride. So I can assure you the story is going to be another reason why Wuthering Waves succeed. And last but not least, number 5, and I think this is extremely important. I think this is a point that a lot of people may have overlooked, but number 5 is the ability to cater to both casuals and hardcore gamers. What do I mean by that? Well, to start, they mentioned this in one of their posts that they provided, or it was in one of their trailers, that the combat is going to be for hardcore gamers. Of course, if you want to master the technicality of a character, you certainly can, but it's also going to cater to casuals. If you want to button mash and just press your skills and be able to switch in and switch out, you're able to do that as well. So the gameplay and combat is going to cater to both casuals and hardcore gamers, so you don't have to worry about that. But also for the casuals, you have the open world aspect. That's what a lot of casuals enjoy to do. They enjoy to explore the open world, find chests, find different little mini games that they can do, and to be able to enjoy themselves in the open world and do full exploration for the massive environment that you'll have available to you. But for the hardcore gamers, you have the ability to take on these very difficult bosses, these very difficult encounters that have different phases that you have to learn and master and get a feel for before you really take them down. So it's going to be one where both casuals and hardcore gamers get to experience Wuthering Waves to its fullest potential, the way that they want to experience it, wherein other open world games that may not be the case. It may be just strictly for the casuals that don't get any end game or hardcore content to take down, or they have just only hardcore content and the casuals have nowhere to really enjoy themselves and to be able to unwind and just enjoy the game for what it is without having to sweat. Wuthering Waves, I believe, is going to have a very nice mixture, a nice blend of the two. And just depending on your playstyle and the type of gamer you are, whether you're casual or hardcore or both, you'll be able to enjoy Wuthering Waves and all that it has to offer. So those are my 5 reasons on why I know Wuthering Waves will succeed. I once again would love to know what your guys's are down in the comments below, and I just cannot wait for this game, the closed beta, to fully experience Wuthering Waves and all that it has to offer. Anyways, thank you guys so much for all the support. I do truly appreciate it. It means the world to me. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name is Cody. You call me Further. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.